Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another stream. This one, Stonks Maxxing Day 21, Business Strategy with Hamilton Helmer. Pretty much, I was reading through, or not reading through, but listening to a podcast with Hamilton Helmer and the people at Acquired. I keep forgetting their names. I think Ben and David. I don't know their Acquired podcast. Ben Gilbert and David Rosenthal. Okay. And they pretty much go over the book Seven Powers. There's this guy named Hamilton Helmer who is I guess you could say, a world-renowned strategy consultant and also investor. He's been in this game for a while now, has established himself as really one of the pioneers and leading figures in the strategy business. He has his own strategy consulting and investment firm called Strategy Capital. And I think he's made a lot of money for his clients and for himself. So in this time, or in this stream, I kind of want to go over the Seven Powers, think about this, think about these, come up with some examples, and then also maybe apply that to either VF Corp or some of the other companies I was analyzing to see if there's anything really helpful here. Okay, so benefit here really can come down to, so there's a blog post I was reading by Abby Tyus Tungle. He has some definitions of each. I don't have the actual book, so there's maybe a few blog posts here where I can I'm sure I can read through this blog post. It'll be helpful, hopefully. But let's just dive into this then. Okay. You guys are easy. Execution is everything. Any strategy really is just a theory, but if you do X, then Y will happen. So I'm gonna take this actually. Also link this. Okay, it's an interesting quote. It's just a theory. If we bet X, then if we do X, then Y will happen. Businesses can try to improve its strengths, mitigate its weaknesses, eliminate competitor risk, better serve its customers, maximize shareholder value, or take advantage of its pricing power. Okay. Okay, so benefit to its competitors. Benefits to owners. And then to barrier to competitors. Oops. All right, let me see if okay, nice. I feel like this is probably increased switching costs due to additional value to scaling business increases value, can charge more. Barrier, think hard to gain market share from, okay, because users don't want to switch. Think network economics. Example, the biggest one could be social media networks and the advertising revenue that comes with it. Scale economies, I think, try here. So another way of thinking about this is probably a company with a lot of very low variable costs and high fixed costs. So maybe some manufacturing business for automobiles. But I would think that the variable cost is still pretty big here. Maybe pharmaceutical companies where, yeah, I guess they're really producing something here. Cloud hosting? Okay. Sample cloud hosting platform where fixed costs of servers are paid for by increasing amounts of customers. Yeah. I feel like this could be a better example, but that's what I got for now. So, definition. Okay. We have counter-positioning. Counter-positioning, this idea was talked about in the Acquired podcast as well. I think the definition behind counter-positioning was the idea of new entrants coming into the business, or new entrants coming into the business and revolutionizing some new business model or new product that the incumbents or the mature firms that have already proven their dominance in that industry can't really replicate without risking their entire business itself. I think a good example of this that they talked about in the podcast was the idea of Netflix versus Blockbuster. I think at the time Netflix was pioneering the mail to home disc business model, and that was a huge difference from Blockbuster and their idea of you going to a store and actually browsing the shelves for a new movie to buy or rent. And I think Hamilton Helmer, he mentioned that at the time Blockbuster, about 50% of their revenues did come from late fees, which Netflix didn't charge. So there's a different cost structure or cost model here that's involved as well that Netflix pioneered and was able to maybe even acquire new customers because these customers didn't have to actually pay for these late fees. Could be not. So let's take a look at what's... Okay, so business adopts a new business model that incumbents can't replicate because it cannibalizes existing business. So benefits, I'm sure this allows, I guess, reduces competition, allows the owner to acquire more customers or acquire more. Okay, so lower prices slash higher cost, higher prices, lower costs for high value differentiated product. Cannibalization of existing business. Okay. So example here is Netflix versus Blockbuster. Rise of DVD mail service, no late fees, and online streaming. Okay. So another idea of switching costs, business where customers expect a greater loss than the value they gain from switching to an alternate. Ability to charge higher prices for the same product, and our competitor has to compensate the customer to switch. You know, when I'm thinking about all of this, I'm really interested to do this analysis from the point of view of Duolingo. I think that they're a company that really has just based off first glance, a lot of these powers that the book describes. When was Duolingo founded? Hmm. Like, education business. Let's see, education. University of Phoenix. I'm getting distracted here because I'm just thinking about, like, how do I even start looking at this? Do I look at this from a tech perspective, a education perspective, maybe both? When was University of Phoenix public? Okay. Think about this later. But counter positioning. Okay, switching cost. So oops. I think the value of switching to another product is way less than the value it's not enough to compensate the value lost from leaving the current product. From not using current product. Okay. I think it's good. Benefits. So, ability to charge higher prices for same product. Bear competitor is to compensate for customer switch. I think example, so Duolingo has the concept of streaks, which measures how many days in a row that you've studied for, and switching apps will cause that streak to die. Okay, So I think that's actually a pretty good example of the switching cost that honestly I don't even think anyone could really compensate for that. Age of Duolingo users. India has the most number of Duolingo. Okay. I wonder if it's on the Duolingo Board of Directors. Bing Gordon. Okay. Sarah Clemens. Interesting. Okay, so their board is pretty stacked. Wow, okay, a lot of these guys go to Stanford, so it would be really cool to get into Stanford, actually. Alright. Okay. Wire dispose. Huh. Filed by insiders prior to its sale of restricted stock. Not entirely sure what all of that means. Vaughn on Lewis. Okay, I have to figure out how this would work. I'm gonna see if ChatGPT can tell me. Okay. Let's take a look. Oops. Man. Oh. Okay, desktop screenshot. Can you describe what these boxes are saying for this form 4? Okay, so biggest one's probably the non-derivative securities acquired, disposed of, or beneficially owned. What has ruled this? Version of derivative securities. Conversion. Okay. So I wonder, you know, this form shows that there was seems like a conversion of maybe some derivative into 12,000 shares of stock. Why is he also disposing of 10,000 plus shares of stock? So Okay, this also is interesting. Would a insider, so why? This is common for insiders to sell stock and convert. Let's see. Oh, maybe before even this. So, what does this form represent? So, what is this portion? What does this table say? Okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick as well. But damn, ChatGPT is powerful. Okay. What is Class A versus Class B common stock? So SEC Form 4 transaction codes. Sale, bona fide gift. Certain M, exercise or conversion of securities. C, conversion of derivative securities. All right. Okay. I see. Okay. So this is where corporate governance kind of comes into play, but what ChatGPT is saying, which I hope is true, makes sense economically. You have these different classes of shares in order to maybe not dilute existing ownership, and the way you can do that is the voting rights built into these different classes, and this is really the foundation of some of corporate governance structures. Now, Duolingo annual report. class, Duolingo class A and stock class. So interesting. Duolingo class B stock. .rtf. Wait, how to open RTF file? Yeah, wait, what even is a rich text file? Okay. Let's open with text editor. Okay. Let's open with Microsoft Word. Let's see if this works. Employee stock purchase plan. Form S8 registration statement. Okay, so what is Form S8? Form S8. Part of an employee benefit plan. All right, I might add all of this stuff into a. All right, so I'm gonna save this for now. Maybe some different SEC forms. I feel like it'll be helpful to have on hand. Kind of remembered. So do SEC forms. Okay, so form. SEC filings. So Form S8 and Form 4. Okay. Okay, so this is a statement filed with you, so with SEC. Okay, actually filed by public companies to register securities that are being offered through the company's employee benefit plan. Okay, oh, I see. So it can include stock options, stock purchase plans, and other types of equity. Okay. That's cover stock options, stock purchases, equity compensation. So I wonder, is this just filed once? All right, another question I might want to ask is how do you tell what the equity or governance structure, maybe equity compensation, looks like for different companies? All right. Okay, so let's take a look. Form S8 SEC filings. Oh, Duolingo. Incentive award plan. This is about 8 pages long. Okay. $54,000 total offering amounts. Fee rates. Alright, so I'm not entirely sure, exactly what that is, what this is referring to. I'm also really hungry right now, I'm getting distracted. Okay, I think... maybe we could start with this. This is probably the biggest one. Proposed, so equity incentive plan, incentive award plan, employee stock purchase plan, equity incentive plan options. Any way to find out how incentive plans are structured for publicly traded companies? Oh, interesting. Form DEF. Damn, this is long. Okay.
You gotta get in there already.
Compensation. Maybe this. What is NEO? You know, honestly, the salary isn't even that high. Yeah. Okay, so what is a restricted stock unit? I feel like based off the name, it's a share of stock that is restricted and maybe doesn't actually become unrestricted or actually owned by a board member or whoever it's aligned to, unless some specific metric or performance is hit. Okay. Kompensier. Damn, I didn't realize there was paid consultants. I guess PSU, performance based restricted stock units. Okay. Okay, so wow, this is a very, very optimistic projection, but I think right now it's trading around here. So I think Dr. Hacker is CTO? Servant Hacker, okay. Stock awards, wow. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, honestly, like some of this stuff, I kind of still have no idea what this actually means. Pay versus performance, total stockholder return. Okay. I wonder how we can contrast this with VF form. Wait, what is this called? DF 14A. Is Bracken Darrell in here? Benador, okay. Bracken Darrell, I think he was added onto the I feel like Bracken Darrell was added on to the as CEO in maybe June or July 2023, maybe late August. Okay, so maybe there's $5.25. Yeah, I don't think it would have been here then. Bracken, nope. All right, 10 Qs then. Daryl. Okay, June. Here we go. Okay, so this is kind of where we can see the incentive structure. So during the employment period, your bi-weekly base salary would be $50,000. Wow, that is insane. 1.3 million on an annualized basis. You'll be eligible for an annual bonus in respect of each fiscal year VF, payable in accordance with the annual incentive plan applicable to other senior executives of VF. Your target annual bonus opportunity will be 175% of your annual base salary, with the actual amount payable ranging from 0 to 200% of your target annual bonus opportunity. It's determined by the board or applicable committee thereof based on actual performance. Okay. Will be prorated based on the number of days you're employed by VF during the fiscal year. Okay. There's a lot of stuff here. It's difficult to read, so I'm gonna read this maybe a few times. Interesting. VF currently offers unlimited vacation to associates at your global job level. You're also eligible for 5 6 days per year. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Okay. Maybe compensation. So I wonder, so the restricted stock units, do they fluctuate in value of the 3-year performance cycle? So our restricted stock units, what are restricted stock units and how do they work? I see. So these restricted stock units, a incentive aligned compensation for board members for employees of a company. So a high level, these are options. Stock options are similar to stock options. They give you the right to own shares at a certain price, usually is the after the vesting period is over, is the stock that is granted priced restricted by stock units. When shares are granted, do employees sell at the market price? Okay. At a high level, these restricted stock units, so are RSUs commonly measured in dollars or shares? Daniel. Okay. Okay, so this makes more sense. These restricted stock units always vest, you're guaranteed to have them. On that note, I do have to go pee. I'm gonna check my phone real quick. Assume that you are granted 10,000 RSUs that vest over 4 years. The stock price stays at $10 and vary as it normally would. Okay, so it seems like are guaranteed at the time of vesting. This means that you have to wait a few years and the shares are automatically granted to you. Stock options. So these are basically call options awarded to employees. Give them the right to buy shares of a stock at a predetermined price. Low risk because unless the stock price goes to zero, the RSU will always have value. So high risk because the options contract can be worthless if at the time of exercising the option, the strike price, I think this is the price at which you would be able to buy the stock. Price you can buy the stock is the same or less than the market price. Because then why would you pay more to buy the stock through this option contract when you can just buy it for cheaper on the stock market. I think that's a big idea. Okay, so now that we've cleared that up, let's try to reread this again. So "50% of performance-based restricted stock units and 50% of stock options, in each case the terms of which will be consistent with those applicable to other executive officers of VF." Okay, so I think that if they share similar characteristics, we might be able to find them in the compensation. Okay, executive compensation. Okay, I think here we go. Let's see. Uneven go-to-market execution, delay deliveries to our customers in our own direct channels, higher cost. Okay. Okay, I can see maybe the problem with retailers is they might overextend themselves and purchase too much inventory, and that's kind of sucks up, maybe not sucks up, but bloats the working capital, the net working capital of the company when it can be spending that money somewhere else, maybe on marketing or paying it out as dividends. So I think that's what they mean here when they talk about elevated inventory levels. Okay. Okay. Alright, so there is a lot in this sentence. Alright, I think, yeah, this is where it gets... Alright, yeah, I'll try to reread this sentence again, or this part again, but this was a lot. So, given the financial performance wasn't great, Talent and Compensation Committee determined that VF's performance against pre-established enterprise financial metrics under VF's annual incentive plan for fiscal 2023, which was weighted 80% for our executives, no idea what that means, resulted in no payout for those enterprise financial metrics. I'm assuming that means there wasn't really any performance payments. In assessing the remaining 20% weighting of individual strategic objectives under VS fiscal 2023 annual incentive plan, which focused on people, talent, inclusion, diversity, and equity. Purpose, culture, governance, okay, as well as executives area of accountability. The committee determined to assess payouts for NEOs based on financial performance of their areas of accountability. Okay, so I have to search up what NEO means. What does NEO mean in business? Named executive officer. Any CEOs versus NEOs. CEO versus NEO business. Yeah, not okay. Maybe ChatGPT knows. What is the NEO? What does NEO refer to in Form 14A? I think it's Form DEF, right? Not too sure. Okay. I think it's name executive officer. Alright. But I'll let that cook a little bit. It's trying to find. Alright, here we go. Okay. Current date stock price 45. Okay. Okay, interesting. So it seems like there was no performance restricted stock unit, but more so a time vested, which I guess makes sense. I mean, he is taking on a lot of responsibility for the company in order to fill in the position of Steve Rendell. So I'm gonna also, I'll open this, and then I'll also open VFC. So Bracken, Daryl, let's see, Benno, Door, achieved a awarded time vested RSUs for his role as an interim CEO when Steve Rendell retired. Okay. Significant portion of each executive is at risk, subject to fluctuations based on VS financial performance. Okay. Replace the net income goal with an operating income goal to emphasize importance of profit delivery and enhance line of sight for all participants. I'm not entirely sure what that means, because I guess there are maybe some accounting gimmicks you can have for net income. Non-operating income expenses that could be off the books. Not entirely sure, but maybe they're trying to say that operating income is a better measurement of operating performance, and so that's something that the board wants to stress here. Performance restricted stock units, revenue, compound annual growth rate, and gross margin percentage expansion. Okay, so they're really focusing on revenue, not earnings. Return to use of, okay. So to S&P 500 consumer discretionary index companies. Okay, and I don't think this is doing too well. Year to date. No chart available. Alright. Never mind. It's doing fairly well in this 1 year return. Also not too bad. Okay. What is a clawback provision? I heard about that, I feel like. Oh, getting a call. Hey, Allison. Hey,
Where are you right now?
I'm at the hub.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you know what you wanted?
No, whatever you guys want to eat, I'm fine with.
Well, we're not entirely too sure if you want to come with at weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you want Northwest? Do you want Northwest, Brent?
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever.
Okay, we can meet you there then.
You want to meet me there? Okay.
And
Uh,
okay,
bye. Okay, gonna leave soon. Okay. Damn, this is a really, really long portion. Alright, but it's interesting. They have a select group of performance peers. Okay. Yeah, I think Kevin Bailey was fired. Gift Corp. I feel like this guy's new. Yeah. Wait, when was this guy promoted? Okay. Nicole Otto, Brent Hyder. Executive team. Yeah, so I feel like think they got rid of some people last time I saw. All right. Oh no, I was looking at the board of directors. Yeah. With the executive team. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have executive team, who is the global president for Vans. Does not say here, actually. Yeah, I think they were trying to find a new guy for Vans. I wonder, Supreme Creative Director. Supreme Brand Presidents. Okay, so maybe so it seems like James Jebbia is still continue to manage the business. Does James Jebbia still run Supreme? I wonder if there is anything about him. James Jebbia. Okay, I guess nothing really about him recently. Okay, yeah, getting a bit sidetracked, but this is a behemoth of. Yeah, this is pretty difficult to read through. There's a lot to unpack here. I might come back to this maybe either later today or later in the week, but I think this is an interesting discussion to be had, analyzing how a failing company that needs to turn around will compensate its directors and leaders in midst of a turnaround. This is something that I'm pretty new to. I'm not entirely sure what exactly to think about here, but it's worth a shot. So I think also from our analysis here, we've measured the enterprise value to EBITDA ratio and also the enterprise value. Okay, so pretty much these two different graphs flipped. VF, I don't know if it's statistically significant, but it seems like it does have a fairly low enterprise value to EBITDA ratio. Actually, the enterprise value to EBITDA is relatively high compared to other companies here. So Hugo Boss, which is more luxury than what I would consider Vans, and maybe Supreme is arguably luxury, but North Face. And then you have LGY. I'm not entirely sure what that is. That doesn't make any sense. Let's try the description. Oh, leaning. Okay. So leaning, and then oh man, yeah, that's tough to read. Okay, so I gotta head out now. I haven't left. Just got a text that my friend's already there. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.